Yo guys, what's going on? It's Ryuga with another video for you guys. This is another Legion themed video because you guys said this is what you would want to see. We are going to be talking about the Legion and changes that I would like to see to his base kit and add-ons, as well as just quality of life changes that would make him a lot better. To start it off, we're going to talk about his base kit, but before we can talk about his base kit, we are going to have to talk about Deep Wound. So, the Deep Wound timer is now changed. Doing an action while you are in Deep Wound, such as healing another survivor or doing a generator, causes your timer to decrease significantly faster. This incentivizes survivors to mend rather than to finish healing a teammate or try to greet a generator. The Deep Wound timer now has skill checks, similar to the Doctor. Those are the only two changes to the Deep Wound. I feel like they should be slightly more threatening without making them overpowered. And I was going to say increase the Deep Wound timer. However, I don't want survivors to feel like they are spending the whole game mending, which is what made it relatively frustrating to face when Legion first came out because they had a very long mend timer. Now let's move on to the changes to Legion specifically. So, the Legion now moves at 5.4 meters per second in Frenzy, instead of 5.2. I would have increased this to 5.6, but we have an add-on change that may be too strong if it were going to be 5.6. We'll get into that later, but 5.4 would make up for the fact that sometimes he feels like he's just not in a very good position because survivors can outrun him if they run in a straight line, even if you are extremely close when you activate your Feral Frenzy. So I want his power to feel more like you can actually catch a survivor and that you are on steroids, that they can't just outrun you, because when you get outran in your power, you just feel pathetic. In addition to this, Feral Frenzy duration is increased by 2 seconds. We are going to, merge these together, of course, to make it just a more seamless transition into Feral Frenzy and being able to track down survivors and hit them all with Deep Wound. Now we're going to move on to his Feral Frenzy power gauge depletion when he does an M1. So now the Legion only suffers a 25% reduction to his Feral Frenzy power gauge when he performs a normal attack. So right now it depletes by 50% every time you hit somebody, and I think that's a little too brutal just for M1ing a survivor. So this will make it feel a lot better to play the Legion when you're going to go for an M1. And of course we have some changes to the fatigue timer. The fatigue timer now varies depending on the action of the Legion. If the Legion manually ends Feral Frenzy, the timer is now 2.5 seconds of fatigue. However, if the Legion misses a Feral Frenzy attack or depletes his power gauge, the fatigue timer is 4 seconds, which is the same as the regular fatigue timer now. This will make it to where if a Legion is playing well and he manually ends his power, he won't suffer as long as a fatigue timer. However, if he misses an attack or doesn't catch the survivor, he goes into an extended fatigue. I feel like this will add a lot more of, maybe not a lot more, but it'll make the Legion depend more on his skill instead of mindlessly swinging or chasing after a survivor instead of ending his power when he knows he's not going to be able to catch them. I think that those changes to his base kit will make him a lot more fun to play, and he won't feel as terrible without add-ons. Now we're going to start talking about add-on reworks for the Legion. We're going to start from high quality add-ons to low quality. If I don't mention an add-on in this video, that means that the add-on is going to stay the same. However, of course, things like Stolen Sketchbook and all that jazz are going to have slightly tweaked numbers. I don't feel like, trying to do the math on it. That'd be something that'd just be a balance thing. But those are going to stay the same. However, I'm just not going to talk about the ones that I'm not changing. So if you don't hear them, that means that I don't have a change with them. Alright, so let's get started with the add-on reworks. The first add-on that we have reworked is Fuming Mixtape. So how Fuming Mixtape works now is every initial Feral Frenzy hit on a survivor depletes their Deep Wound timer by 25%, stacking for every subsequent hit to a survivor. This means that the initial survivor hit suffers a 25% reduction to their Deep Wound timer. The second chain survivor hit suffers a 50%. The third survivor that you hit suffers a 75%. And then if you manage to chain all 4 hits, the fourth survivor suffers 100% deep wound timer progression. So what that means is that this survivor instantly goes into the dying state. Now if the Legion downs a survivor with Feral Frenzy, he instantly exits Feral Frenzy. Overall, the Legion is now going to have a 5-second fatigue while he has this add-on active. This is to balance it out because if you are able to chain all of these hits, it will be very strong. And now the movement speed of the Legion is also tremendously increased while he has this add-on. So it is tremendously increased, and now he has a stacking reduction to the deep wound timer per chain hit. So this is to make it to where he is more likely to be able to chain hits his survivors, and if he's able to hit all 4, he downs somebody. However, the fatigue timer is there, that way it's not too overpowered, because you're not able to do this often, so you should suffer a pretty decent fatigue timer. We have reworked Filthy Blade. This is the same effect as before, except when a survivor is put into the deep wound, they become hindered for 30 seconds. Filthy Blade on its own was okay, but I feel like because it is a purple add-on, it needs a little more something to it, but something that's not going to be too strong. The next add-on change we have is for Frank's Mixtape. A survivor can no longer perform actions while they are in deep wound. This includes unhooking, doing generators, and healing survivors. They can still vault, throw down pallets, and all of that stuff. However, this add-on is meant to stop a survivor from doing any kind of action to progress the game or save teammates, while they have the deep wound timer. The next add-on is Stab Wound Study. Any survivor performing the mend action has their aura revealed to the killer. However, their deep wound mend timer is reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. So what this add-on is I wanted to make it sound like it represented the name of the add-on a lot better than it does. So Stab Wound Study makes me think that if somebody has been stabbed and they are in the deep wound, you should be getting some kind of information because it is called Stab Wounds Study. So now they have their auras revealed while they're mending, similar to how Nurse's Calling used to reveal it back in the PTB. So I feel like this will be a really fun add-on. It's not necessarily overpowered, and it will also reduce Survivor's deep wound timer just a little bit, so it's not tremendously overpowered. The next add-on we will be reworking is Never Sleep Pills. Whenever you put a survivor into the dying state, the Feral Frenzy power gauge is instantly refilled. I felt like this would be a nice little thing, It's not too strong, it's just kind of a quality of life add-on that you can use if you're not feeling like running anything too sweaty or anything like that. It's just a nice little touch. The friendship bracelet was removed. There was really no use. I don't know. This was the one that increased the killer instinct radius. I feel like you don't really need an add-on for that, so I just took it out of the game. There's now a new add-on that I am adding. It is called Feral Pin. Hitting a survivor highlighted by killer instinct will cause them to become oblivious for 60 seconds. Now, I feel like I wanted to add I want to add more. I just don't know exactly what to add without making it, too strong. But I think the Oblivious status effect, now that it is a new thing, would be really cool to mess with. So, if you chain your Feral Frenzy hits, such as the Legion Pin causing the broken status effect, I feel like Oblivious would be really, really, really fun. However, it would still not be too overpowered because you still have to chain it to a lot of survivors. Overall, I think that these changes would increase the quality of life for the Legion and make him not as reliant on add-ons as they used to be. And I feel like these add-on reworks would also change them in a way that would make them a lot better for the Legion, or at least more unique. Because right now his add-ons pretty much are increase his speed, and the rest of his add-ons suck except for Iridescent Button. So it feels really weird looking at Legion's kit, because there are a lot of cool things that they could do with Feral Frenzy. However, they don't do them. So I feel like these things would make it a lot more fun to play Legion, and overall just increase, the good time you're having playing Legion. I just feel like he has way too much punishment and not enough, not enough speed. His frenzy fatigue is just too long, and his add-ons are just terrible. So these changes would make him a lot more fun and just overall a better killer. If you guys agreed with these changes or you have some changes of your own that you would like to share with us, feel free to post a comment down below. I would love interacting and reading them. Other than that, that's it for this video. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, evening, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you live. And I'll see you guys in the fog. Appreciate you guys watching.
There's thunder and lightning. It was awfully exciting.